In tonight's broadcast, we are talking about type 1 diabetes.
My daughter, at the age of 2 years and 3 months, was diagnosed with diabetes type 1. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 16. I am 26 now.
The reason for high level of blood sugar is emotional conflict. Just imagine you're at war. You're fighting. Okay, let's work through your war.
Okay, I feel fire inside. I have to solve this problem. I must find a way to calm him.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
What has changed?
I'm feeling relieved after what you have just said. I feel relieved and joyful. I can enjoy every moment now. I get pleasure from every moment of my life now.
I am confident that the weavers who had type 1 diabetes found similarities in your own story. And I am positive that changes in their bodies have begun. So manage your sugar level, manage your health. Now I'm looking forward to work with a patient who has a child with a high sugar level. I have a little daughter diagnosed in 2017. Let's work together. Working with children is interesting. We had previous experience with older children. Time to work with toddlers. Good evening.
Good evening.
Is your name Anna?
Yes, my name is Anna. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. What happened?
At the age of 2 years and 3 months, my daughter was diagnosed with diabetes type 1.
2 years and 3 months.
She's 5 now. She became ill in 2017.
Now she's 5 years old. 2017. What's her name?
Valerie.
Valeria. What are the sugar digits and how did it begin?
It started during the divorce process with her father.
Well,
At the moment of manifestation, her sugar was 23 points. We were hospitalized and spent a week in the endocrinology. Her glucose sugar was 12.2. After we were released from the hospital, I didn't know anything about diabetes. We don't have diabetes in the family, so it is not inherited.
usually when you can't cure illness, just blame inheritance.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you. Now we have diabetes under control. It took me 3 years to accept this fact and to study it as much as I can.
What level of sugar does she have nowadays and how do you treat it?
She receives insulin therapy, short-acting medicine and the long one. She receives 5 points of insulin a day at lunchtime. I have figured it out over time. And at the mealtime, depending on the food. Today, her fasting sugar was 5.8. Now she is napping. Her sugar level was 4.9.
Do you give shots of short-lasting insulin?
Yes, of course. Before every meal we do. Depending on the food. Usually she gets 3 to 4 points of short-lasting insulin.
Do you measure before food?
Insulin?
Oh, excuse me, I mean sugar level.
Yes, of course we do.
What sugar level does she usually have?
Maximum sugar level within the last couple of weeks was 15 points. It happened around 10 days ago during the lunchtime before meal. It's been a while since we saw such levels of sugar on the glucometer, and I don't really know what is the matter. Our life is well organized as a textbook.
Is your child attending preschool?
No, she doesn't. She stays at home with me.
Stays at home.
Excuse me?
She stays at home.
Yes, she's with me all the time. I have her diabetes under control. 24/7 we are together.
What city do you live in?
From Rostov-on-Don.
Rostov. Is she your only child?
I have an older daughter. She is 11 years old.
Do they both have the same father?
Yes, they do.
Why did you get divorced?
Her father has left the family.
Was it his decision or did you ask him?
He met another woman.
Let me ask you, in the process of your divorce, there was intense situation in your family, and the child reacted by getting diabetes.
Yes, we were separated and lived in different places. We were going through the dissolution process, and the child has reacted with high sugar level.
How long was the situation pending?
The divorce process lasted 1 year.
On what period did the diabetes occur?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that,
The
please?
dissolution process lasted 1 year. On what stage did the diabetes begin?
High sugar occurred. It began when I met another man.
Did he come to your house?
No, my child didn't know about him. They never met.
How long did it pass since her father left when the diabetes began?
After 6 months.
6 months. So it happened in the middle of the divorce process.
Yes,
You met another man and the sugar level had increased.
correct.
Well,
Approximately within 1 month.
so your daughter met your new partner?
No, she had no idea.
Didn't know.
No.
And she couldn't guess.
Excuse me?
And she couldn't guess.
She had no clue.
Even though her mother was away from home sometimes.
Well, that whole situation was very limited, and my child wasn't involved.
Are you married now?
No, I'm not.
So that man has also disappeared.
Yes, he has.
He has. How old were you when the situation started?
I was somewhere between 28 and 29 years old.
So now you are 31.
I am 33 now.
33. I thought it was in 2017.
3 years ago.
Oh, yes, everything is correct. I'm sorry. How did you find out that your husband has a mistress?
There were phone calls, text messages, secret dates, tons of lies. I met him in places where he wasn't supposed to be. A typical situation.
Every situation is different.
I agree.
What time of the day was it? Morning, evening, afternoon?
I had thoughts about it. But I eventually found out about everything in the evening. I had a phone conversation with the person who I hired to investigate.
To investigate what?
To find out. I hired a specialist to find out what exactly was happening.
So you hired a detective.
Yes, exactly.
So what did he find out?
He found out that my husband had a relationship with another woman. As a proof, he attached correspondence and photographs and so on.
And how did you feel yourself at the moment?
Disgusting.
What do you exactly mean?
As a matter of fact, it wasn't the first time when I found out that he was cheating on me. But this was the last drop for the decision of getting a divorce. I finally realized everything.
What was happening before?
He was constantly cheating on me, and it lasted for over 10 years.
So it started happening 1 month after the wedding, correct?
In 3 months after our wedding, I got pregnant with the older daughter. I had very strong toxicosis. I was feeling sick all the time. I couldn't even leave the house. I was constantly ill. After the baby was born, I became a mother, but he didn't really become a father.
How did you understand that?
Honestly, he never really stepped up from his level to a new one. He didn't accept his responsibility for the family. It's like he didn't realize that we became parents now. and he continued living as a teenager, you know? And I was devoted to the family. I was taking care of my child. Some serious distance occurred between us after the child was born. I devoted myself to the family, and he continued to have fun.
So he wasn't coming home.
Yes, sometimes he didn't.
For how long?
Sometimes he wasn't coming home at night. He was telling me that he had a vacation, but actually he was doing his own business, you know.
Were you living on your own at the moment?
What do you mean by that?
Away from your parents?
Yes, from the very beginning we were living away from our parents, and they lived in a different city.
How did you move to Rostov?
We came here to study. We studied in different schools, but in the same city.
How was the time when your elder daughter was born different from the time when you got proof of him being unfaithful?
How was my life different?
Yes, exactly. You already knew that he was cheating on you. And what was changed that you decided to get a divorce?
I'm not sure what was the difference, actually. I could never accept this fact. I always had a very strong desire to win. I was determined to save the family and our relationship. I knew that there will be time when everything will be over and I will be victorious.
What is my truth? What is my victory about?
I had this target for saving the family. I felt that holding on to the family was my karmic path. This was my destiny sent from the above. I love this man. He is the father of my child. Eventually, his youth will pass, and he will understand that I am the best and we will be together.
What were you doing to win?
Well, I actually had some different strategies. I took some time and analyzed myself. At different times, I had different behavior. At first, I surrounded him with love and care. I wanted him to come home and feel this warmth. Later, I had times when I was staying away. I wasn't getting involved really. I didn't ask him about his stuff. I had no questions. If he came home, it was good enough. And of course, there was the period when we were arguing much. I was telling him that I wasn't happy and that I didn't want to live like this. And I was threatening him with divorce if he was going to continue acting like this. I tried to change my behavior, but the result was remaining unchanged, regardless of my acting.
How did you feel yourself in this conflict?
I felt awful. I lost my self-esteem completely. I lost the understanding of my woman nature. I didn't feel myself attractive. I lost my self-esteem. I stopped taking care of myself. Eventually, I stopped being interesting for him as well. I didn't think about myself at that whole situation. I lost myself completely. My only objective was to win. I needed to conquer the war. I needed everyone to step aside
Anna, I
and
have an
me
abstract
become
question.
the
Tell
winner.
about your parents.
My parents' family is different from mine. Even if my parents had this type of situation, we never knew about it. Even if this sort of situations ever happened in the family, we, being children, never knew about this. I have a younger brother. Obviously, they had some sort of arguments, as in any other family. But I always felt loved in the family and I always felt happy as a child.
From both sides.
Yes, both of my parents loved me. They certainly had some misunderstandings, and at times I was present during their arguments. But I can't say that I was traumatized in my childhood, to be honest with you.
What were the reasons for their arguments?
They had different types of misunderstandings. My father used to be a military man, so sometimes he maybe would go out with friends, and my mom wasn't satisfied with this fact. There were some financial arguments at times when we weren't doing too well, but it never was so extremely serious. Neither one of them ever wanted to get a divorce or live separately.
Are you the oldest daughter?
Yes, I am. I have the younger brother.
Yes, you said about your brother before. I didn't know if you had someone older than you.
There are two children in the family, and I'm the oldest
Right
one.
after your parents' wedding?
No, a little later. It happened after 3 years. They got married at 21, and I was born at 24.
Was there a pregnancy before you?
No, there wasn't.
Are you sure
I
about
had a
it?
conversation with my mother about it.
No abortions or miscarriages, correct?
That's correct. There wasn't any before me, that's for sure.
How is your brother doing?
My brother is doing well. He's at school. Now, due to the restrictions, he's living with our parents.
Is he married?
Not yet.
Where did you get this fighting spirit?
I'm not exactly sure. I understand that this is not the right way for a woman. My mother is also quite a strong woman, but I don't think she is as strong as I am. She also had the aim to win in some other targets. But to be honest, I don't really know where it comes from. I always have some kind of objectives, and I have to give everything I got. And I can never settle down. But the question is how it is connected with my child's blood sugar.
You were fighting for a certain objective. You wanted to save the family.
That's right.
And then, after you have received the proof of your man's dishonesty, what made you give up your strategy?
I got tired.
You felt tired.
Yes, I met that other woman. This isn't the first experience for me meeting a rival. And my approach style used to work before. But this time something was different. She told me that she didn't really care. It didn't matter for her if we had family, children. She told me that she loves him and wants to be with him.
Well, so what have you felt at that moment?
I felt empty. I didn't know what to say to her. It was the first time in my life when I felt speechless.
Did you feel defeated at the moment?
Not exactly, but I felt lost. I wasn't sure what to do now.
Did it take you a long time to recover?
It was pretty fast. The solution simply occurred, and I have started to act towards this decision.
So it was the beginning of the dissolution process, and 6 months later your child was diagnosed with diabetes.
Yes, approximately this time.
Well, how did the man appear in your life?
A new one.
Yes.
We accidentally met at a car wash.
Was your divorce lasting a year, formally?
Yes, they were formal procedures that lasted for a year.
Did your ex-husband leave you right away?
Well, I kicked him out. He wasn't happy about it. He wanted to keep everything as it is, because he got used to everything after 10 years. And all of a sudden, I started acting as if I have lost my mind.
What relationship do you have now?
With my ex-husband?
Yes.
For the last 4 years, we haven't been much involved. I'm talking about time since our breakup. There were times when we completely lost contact, but now he is in a complicated situation. He married that woman and they had a little daughter. She is a few months old now. And he is having a hard time now. He has got himself into a complicated situation. And it was his own fault. Now we are communicating because I'm trying to help him in this situation.
How are you helping him?
I forgot to tell you something. As we already know, I always have some sort of objectives in my mind. So I always wanted for my children to keep thinking positively about their father. I never spoke badly about him, and I always wanted for them to communicate well together. And now, me helping him with his problem brought him closer to the children. When he started to show up in their life again, they became very happy. They feel content, and the sugar level dropped down. So now I'm helping him by means of some assets that we have accumulated in the time when we were still married. So we still have some questions that are not finished yet. So I stepped back from my demands to help him out.
So you're helping him out with financial problems by means of the assets that you gained throughout the time of marriage.
Yes, I do. It belongs to children, but I agreed to help him out with it. He was the part of the process when we were gaining all this stuff, so he can use it now to get some
So
help.
you've helped him. What's next?
I think later we will just continue on living separately and we will have different separate lives.
Okay, let's work with your war,
Yes,
and we'll see what happens. Go back to real life when you were fighting for the status of family. Family life,
family life.
you're trying to save the family. And you had this struggle for many years. How did you feel that?
I feel badly now, and when I remember about it also, honestly, I regret. I regret my actions, probably because I haven't received my goal.
So, how do you feel it? For many years you were acting and waiting to get a result. You were like the army general who got defeated. How do you feel?
It resembles a feeling of loss, as if I have lost something important. Emptiness inside. It's not the feeling of anger, and not offense as well. It feels like I have lost something,
Like a loss.
something important and dear
How
to
do you
me.
feel it in your body?
There was always pain in my chest. It lasted throughout all the 10 years, and now it's hard for me to breathe.
It's hard to breathe. So, Anna, please concentrate your attention on this feeling. We will go back in time and we will see where and when did this feeling occur. We'll work with it and decide what should we do afterwards. Sounds good?
Yes,
Okay, catch this feeling. Tell yourself, I'm 25 years old. Do you still have this feeling in your body?
yes, I do.
I am 20.
No, it's not there.
I am 21.
Yes, it's there, I think so.
So, what happened when you were 21 that formed this feeling?
I became a mother for the first time when I was 21.
Well,
I have found out about my husband being unfaithful for the first time.
what kind of cheating was it and how did you find out about it?
It was a text message in his cell phone.
Was it your phone or his?
It was his message.
And what was the content?
It was some love message, and I don't really remember the words of it right now. We got separated for 2 weeks back then.
So you asked him to move out.
I didn't ask him, I just moved his stuff out. I didn't ask him at all. I didn't ask him to move out. It was always my initiative about splitting up. I was asking him to think about it, to understand what I'm talking about. I was asking him to come up with some solution of the problem. If there was something wrong with me, I wanted him to think about it and come up with some decision. Those were the things that I was asking from him. But I wasn't asking when I was moving his stuff out.
So tell yourself, I'm 1 year old and inside my mother's belly.
I am 1 day old and I'm inside my mother's
My
belly.
mother doesn't know that she's pregnant.
My mother doesn't know that she is pregnant.
How do you feel there?
I feel great.
Great. So imagine that God comes to you and he says, Dear Anna, it will happen in your life that at the age of 21 you will be married and you'll find out that your husband is cheating on you. You will see his phone screen and you will find a love text message from his mistress. And you will start a war to save your family. You'll be involved in it for many years, feeling yourself empty and lost. And that time you'll become a woman who humiliates herself and loses her self-esteem at Bergen basement levels. But all this happens to receive the gift of unconditional love, for your heart to be fulfilled with pure love. And it will control your perception, your behavior, thoughts, and feelings. Even if later on you'll meet another mistress. It will happen after you get the proof from your private detective. You'll see the photographs and other types of proof of his betrayal. And the woman will tell you that she doesn't care that the two of you already have children. She loves your husband and she wants to live with him. And you will feel defeated at the moment. And in that exact moment, you will feel absolutely happy, self-sufficient woman who easily creates happy family relationships and receives great joy out of it. It happened for you to receive the gift of love in your heart, and this gift will manage your behavior, your perception, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. How do you feel?
I feel warm sensations.
Well,
I feel good.
okay. I meet my husband's mistress. I tell her, leave our family alone, we have 2 children. And she answers that she doesn't care. How do you feel?
I feel bad. It
Unexpected,
is
yes. What else
unexpected.
do I feel?
I'm starting to understand that I am fed up with this. I don't want
I
this
don't want
anymore.
what?
The
Well,
war I had, the victory. I don't want this any longer. I just want to
you
lay
just
down and
want to
fall
get
asleep.
some rest? Do you feel emptiness at that moment? So it's
I
not
don't feel
there. The
it
feeling
now.
of relaxation is present. So the state you have now, it's
Yes, I
not
do.
bad. You feel that you don't want to play this game anymore.
Yes,
Okay,
I
that's
agree
perfect.
with you.
You see the difference? It's not bad, it's just a relaxing sensation. We have changed the program and now everything will be different. Even if you don't believe it now, it's still happening. It's deeper than your personality. What's your condition now?
I feel all right. I am feeling a bit uncomfortable because I have brought this all up once again. Although I have accepted this story, I feel calm and I was almost ready to continue communication. My opponents didn't need it at the moment. I was ready to be civil and my children to be okay.
What's about your private life?
The subject has always been unpleasant for me. When I think about it and remember about it, it was all very hard and painful for me. Even though I have accepted everything, I still feel uneasy. It is still affecting me.
What life objectives do you have now?
Right now,
Yes.
I want to keep my child away from the insulin shots.
What else do you have?
I want to advance in my career.
What exactly do you want to?
What is it that I want? There are so many people that are watching us right now that shouldn't really know what I want.
We'll let them know and be jealous. If they would be jealous.
There is one project that I'm working on now.
What is the result of this project? What do I dream about? What is it that will make me completely happy?
What do I dream about? I'm looking forward to career advancement and financial
Do you
success.
want to have $1 billion?
Well, not $1 billion, but actually that wouldn't be bad as well. But it also is a very big responsibility.
So you don't want to have this
Not
responsibility.
just a benefit, but also great responsibility. You can turn this amount around in a very different way. It can be a good way or a bad way, you know.
There is an idea of your financial opportunities at acceptance.
I can accept a situation where I receive a stable amount of 300,000 rubles a month. It should be enough for me.
Usually when people achieve their goals, they want more, and it's normal.
I agree with you. It is common psychology.
So you want healthy child, stable income, and that's it?
I want to have more children
With whom?
from a man who I truly love.
It's somebody that you already know, or not?
No, not yet.
Okay. So that's the one of objectives. To find, to love, to joy.
That's true, but I'm not doing anything towards this goal right now.
Okay, Anna, let's work with it. Tell yourself, I'm 1 day old and inside my mother's belly.
I'm 1 day old and I'm inside my mother's belly.
At this moment, God comes to me and He tells, Dear Anna, once in your life your marriage will fall apart, even though you will be fighting for it for a very long time. And at the moment when you will be splitting up with your husband, your child will get an illness. All these events occurs for you to easily achieve success in your career. You'll receive stable income up to 500,000 rubles. It's for you to receive the gift of unconditional love, which will lead you to a successful and balanced relationship. It's for your daughter to be absolutely healthy, happy and confident girl. It's for her to inherit the feeling of self-love and also feel of happiness, joy, which is unconditional. It's for her to always feel confident, absolutely happy and healthy in her future. And it also happened for you to have as many children as you want in your future, without any problem. How do you feel?
I feel great.
What? What has changed?
I feel lightness. Everything what you have just said, I have in my mind. It reminds me of a program. There's always been a program in my mind that I'm working towards. Kind of like the quest for saving my family. Although I might be doing something wrong.
Let there be a goal to release the potential of unconditional love. No condition.
I have some troubles with unconditional love.
It's not. It's an old experience.
It is hard.
It's not hard any longer. Your troubles are in the past.
They are in the past.
Yes, you no longer need it. It's a rudiment.
I agree with you, but I have to set my mind on it.
You just need to feel it. It's like a beeper, you know? Although everyone has phones now. If you remember such thing,
Yes, I do remember.
anything is possible. Well done. How do you feel now?
I feel good. Everything is okay.
All right. Anna, you should observe your child's sugar levels and observe dynamics for a few weeks. If the sugar level is normal, do not use insulin. That's the golden rule. And don't think of your child as a sick one anymore.
I don't think in such way.
I'm not saying that you do, but if any thoughts occur, just don't let them continue.
Sounds good. So I should be watching the sugar level for 2 weeks with insulin.
No. Listen to me. If the sugar level is normal, do not give your short-lasting injections. There's no need, just why?
Regardless of the food that she's eating, right?
Yes, regardless, observe your own regulation. The way to get a person an insulin injection is to observe when it stays below 7 or 8 points after each meal. Then there will be no need of injections, no extra help to feel comfortable. in order to stay away from hypoglycemia from this point of view. So, if you see that the sugar normalizes, the long-lasting injection is being taken down. In time, you can stop taking long insulin. Do you understand? Observe for 2 or 3 weeks and let me know about your condition. I will reply accordingly.
That sounds good. Thank you so much.
All the best, Anna. Hello?
Hello? I think you meant to contact someone else.
Someone else? No, I think it was you. Do you have diabetes?
Yes, I do.
So it's you who I mean to speak with. How is your name?
Yes, me too. I'm glad to meet you as well. My name is Anna.
Anna. Tell me what happened.
At the age of 16, I was diagnosed with diabetes type 1. I am 26 years old now.
16 years old, type 1 diabetes. 26 years now. What happened prior to that diagnosis?
I was gathering information about what has happened, because I thought that everything was all right. Although my mom tells me that I was really stressed out. I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was in the 9th grade, time of the finals. I am an A grade student, so I'm used to do everything perfectly.
Do you have straight A's at school?
Yes, I do. I have the highest possible GPA. So I'm used to study well, and I didn't notice much difference that time. The reason for me not sleeping back then is a creativity festival. We were getting ready for the city competition. Then there was the regional level, and then we went to the international festival.
What kind of festival is it? Describe it.
Mind Odyssey. It is a creativity festival. There are associations organized in different cities.
Are you from Moscow?
I live in Moscow now. I was born in Smolensk region. It started when I was in Smolensk. Our performance was so good that we were sent to the regional competition. At that time, I had a feeling that I was responsible for everything. I was in charge of the decorations, and I was responsible for the script.
Okay.
It was inspiring me. I loved it. I was fully involved. And at the same time, it was hard for me. It was hard because the team wasn't putting enough effort. And I was asking them what was the reason for them not doing anything. As a result, I was doing everything myself.
So you were the leader of the group, is that correct?
I never really liked to be the leader. I was never the captain of my class. I didn't need it, so I wasn't the team captain. Formally, it was always someone else, although I was the one to push the team forward.
Did you get the prize at the end?
In the Creativity Festival, there aren't prizes. We were given points and medals. We were getting points in different areas, like improvisation, spontaneity, and we were getting very high scores.
Well, what exactly did you perform? And what did you perform?
Teams were assigned with an objective, and they must find a solution in the most creative way. We had a 5-minute performance. We were given certain conditions, and we had to perform in the most creative way within those conditions.
What kind of conditions? What exactly did you do? Exactly.
Well, let me think. I'm trying to remember because it was a few years ago. It was the process of a soup preparation, a story about its ingredients and their different conflicts. What is the true story behind the recipe? It is really interesting. And we were showing this on the scene.
So, why were you troubled during that time?
What were my troubles? I was worried about everything, each little detail, about small nails in the decorations for them not to fall apart, and for everyone to say his part correctly, because it is a public performance, in front of the judges and other teams.
So what?
Well, I'm trying to remember. It doesn't really make sense now. But back then, I'm not sure. It was everything interesting, inspiring, and nerve wracking at the same time. I have lost my sleep at night.
What was I afraid of?
I was constantly thinking about it. I was fixing something non-stop. And I was really agitating my team members by that. Everything that I could develop more and more, I was constantly doing it. There was no ending point in this process for me. It was a never ending process. I had to do my homework and my tests, and I was free to go back to the creativity task.
It resembles obsession.
Yes, exactly.
What for? Why do I needed this?
It was my life. I wanted to enroll in the theater school,
Okay.
majoring in the stage direction. I have figured it out back then, although I had my doubts.
What for?
To continue evolving in it, to live by it,
To live how?
to be involved in the non-stop creative process.
When you don't sleep at night? For what?
It is a sort of pleasure.
What kind of?
It is a buzz that gives infinite energy.
Okay. What kills this buzz?
What kills it? Nothing really. I felt like it was impossible to stop or kill it, as if it will continue forever.
What was the difficulty at the age of 16?
The difficulty?
What was wrong with your situation? Why was I out of sleep? Why did I become leader in the story?
I remember I was mostly agitated at the time when the teacher was telling us that we haven't eaten in some time and we must go home to get some rest. And I was all in tears because we haven't finished yet. We were not done with the rehearsing. There is no point in food.
Well,
It is so perishable.
what do you mean by perishable?
How can you compare food with creativity?
Explain your thoughts for me.
It is not important and people don't understand the real meaning of life.
And what's the meaning of life?
The meaning lays within this creativity.
What will happen if I use all my resources and I have no more?
I didn't think that it was possible.
Okay. Nevertheless,
It is good to die on the theater stage. It is respectable to die not over lunch, but on stage.
how long have you had these thoughts?
Yes, it started a while ago. I always admired the stories of different poets and actors. I was always touched by it. I thought that I would have similar destiny.
Destiny of what person touched you the most?
Vysotsky?
Vysotsky. What about him have touched you the most?
Everything did. He was genius. I want to know how he did it. It started in my early childhood. My father used to listen to him,
Well,
and I was brought up on his songs.
is your father a creative person?
No, he doesn't.
Or he just enjoyed Vysotsky?
Yes, good chanson.
No pop music. So, here's a question. Do you understand that Vysotsky didn't finish well?
Yes, I do.
His last years he was using drugs, and he was drinking alcohol.
I'm aware of that, yes.
What good do you see in it?
Nothing really. I thought that it is inevitable.
Where do I get these thoughts?
It is the price of the talent.
Who said that?
It is my observation of the talented people's lives.
Do you know a writer, Lev Tolstoy? He was lived a long life, and she wrote some good novels.
It never really touched me, the life of Tolstoy. I didn't feel that it was serious enough.
So someone has to suffer.
I understood it that way. The price wasn't paid for the talent.
But he
Anyone could
had
do
to.
like that.
Had to become a drunkard, drug addict, and commit suicide, correct?
I think so.
And some serious personal tragedy. You need to have your leg amputated, and then you have paid the price to be actor, or poet, or singer.
Somewhere deep, I had this connection in my mind.
And what do you do now?
I write texts.
For who?
Lately, I have been working for a famous company. I write texts for their blog.
What's the name of the company?
Webinar.ru.
So you write the webinar scripts.
No, I'm writing for their blog. Instructions to give webinars, get well prepared, and so on.
Where did you graduate from?
That's an easy guess. I have a pedagogy degree.
Although your intention was to become a theater director, correct?
Yes, but I wasn't accepted to the university.
How's that possible for you not to get enrolled having such talent?
I thought I was over it already. I have tried so many times. Many people that were my idols, that I saw as experts, they were not fond of the fact that I was an A-grade student.
So they told you that they accept only bad students.
Exactly. There was a time when they said that. I was involved in creativity. I was quite successful at the comedy improvisation. It was not connected with my education. We were performing and were quite successful.
And? So what's closer to you, acting, directing, or writing scripts?
I feel comfortable now. It is easy for me and I'm not suffering. For me, when I was involved in the comedy improvisation, great joy and pleasure were always interconnected with high stress and suffering. It was really hard. I felt great pleasure when I was successful on stage. At the same time, I was extremely hurt and disappointed when I had no success.
There's a quick comment. We have been on air for almost 2 hours now. I'm not sure for how long I am allowed to continue this session. My personal record was 1.5 hours. Now Instagram has opened up possibilities. In case we get disconnected. No, that's not what I meant. I'll work through your situation. In case we get disconnected, I will contact you one more time. So please, don't get discouraged if we lose signal for some time. So, I'll ask you a question. What was happening in your parents' lives at the age of 16?
When I was 16,
When they were 16 years old.
I can only make an assumption.
Let's make an assumption.
My father was working on his diploma at the Railway Technical School. He has graduated from school by that time, I think. And my mother was still at school at the age of 16.
Who is your mom?
And she was also enrolled in the theater class. Maybe it was at the same age as I did. And she was really inspired. She told me the story how during one performance she got really upset as well.
And what? But not to the extent of getting diabetes.
Not like me. And that's true, nobody in the family has diabetes.
What sugar level do you have now?
I'm doing good now. I have tried starvation. I have begun a low carb diet. I have figured out that my sugar level rises 5 points overnight.
What's your level in the morning?
Today it was 17.
Well,
And cortisol, the stress hormone, is really high. And it rises at night. My sugar rises because of cortisol.
okay. What about your sugar level in the evening?
I have noticed that in the evening time, the level of sugar decreases. I feel better in the evening. I know that I have a natural insulin. It is not high, but it is present. Maybe it is still active. In the evening time, it is normal. Usually I go to bed with the sugar level of 8 points. But in the morning it will be high again.
On the level of 8 points of sugar, what medicine do you take?
I may take none because I have a low carb diet. Sometimes I can take a 1 point shot.
It's short?
Yes, the short one.
What do you do in the morning time?
I take 5 points in the morning. I go to bed with 10 points and I wake up with 15.
You usually work with short lasting, correct?
Yes, I'm trying. I'm looking for the way to lower down cortisol.
To decrease cortisol level, you have to be content with your life, completely happy. Then there will be no stress that controlling you, and everything will fall into place.
It's not easy.
It's just so easy. You can't even imagine how easy it is. So, let's remember you being 16. I'm performing at the Creativity Festival. I'm not sleeping at night, burning out all my teammates. Let's never eat. Let's die on stage like Vysotsky. Well, how do you feel?
I miss those times.
How do I feel it?
I feel fire inside.
What part of your body is the fire in?
In my chest.
What other feelings are there?
In my body, I only feel this fire.
What is the feeling connected with the concept of dying on stage?
Burning out.
How do I feel it? I need to burn out.
There is a fire in my entire body.
Entire body. So, concentrate on the fire. We'll go back in time and see what formed this. I am 10. Do I have this feeling?
It is there.
I am 5 years old.
I don't feel it.
I am 8 years old.
Yes, it's there.
I'm 6 years old.
No.
7 years.
No.
I'm 8 again.
Yes.
What happened at the age of 8 that began the feeling in my body? Connected with this feeling,
I can only assume.
what do I remember? I'm 8 years old and it's happening.
It is definitely my parents.
What are my parents doing in my 8 years?
They are getting divorced for the first time.
What's the reason for them getting divorced when I was 8?
My father was drinking alcohol.
Well, what do I remember? I'm 8 years old and something is happening and this fire begins.
My parents were arguing. I was talking to my father.
Why I have to talk with my father? I'm a child. Who makes me do that? What am I supposed to tell him?
I have to solve the issue and I must calm him down.
I must calm him down or my mother.
No, not my mother.
Can my mother handle him? Is he too drunk? Or aggressive?
I have a feeling that I might handle the situation better. I can speak to him and my mother can't.
What am I going to figure out together with him?
For him to stop being aggressive and calm down.
How is he being aggressive?
He was screaming and fighting.
How exactly was he screaming and fighting?
I'm confused about the age I was at the moment. Was I 8 or not?
What's connected with this fire?
This fire?
I feel the fire and something is happening.
It is fear. Somebody is punching the door.
Who is punching the door?
My father is doing it with his fist.
Just why?
I understand it now that he was not dangerous for me. But back then, he was taking up a lot of space. He was really loud. He was talking loudly and he was punching things.
How do I feel at this moment?
I am scared and I have to calm him down.
So, I must calm down a big guy. I'm little 8-year girl. Must calm down adult
He's
big
not
guy.
very big.
Is he 1.3 meters tall?
He's about my height.
At the age of 8, child is about 1.2 meters. But my mother is asking me to settle him down.
No, she's not, but she seems powerless and she's in need for help.
Okay, let's work with it. Tell yourself, I'm 1 day old and inside my mother's belly.
I am 1 day old and I'm inside my mother's belly.
How do you feel?
I feel comfortable.
Imagine that in that age God comes to you and he tells, Dear Anna, there will be a situation in your life at the age of 8 when your parents will be arguing intensively. Your father will be acting aggressively because he will be drunk. Your parents will get divorced for the first time. You will come to a decision to try to settle him down. And you have bigger opportunity to solve the problem than your mother does. The situation will be scary and nerve-wracking. All this happens for you to feel yourself completely happy, relaxed and confident girl. It happens for you to love yourself and receive great pleasure. If at one point in your life you will have a thought that you should become a theater director or actor and you must die on stage like Vysotsky, burn out, then you will understand that you will no longer suffer from this madness. You will love yourself for being a woman, receiving great pleasure out of it. You'll appreciate your natural ability to create love, health and happiness. At the age of 16, you'll be very emotional, you will lose your sleep. And you'll keep on going and going to become great actress on stage. It's for you to understand that you love yourself, that life is beautiful, that you can sleep at night, eat on time and receive great human pleasure without extra tension. It all happens for you to be lucky in life and go through your path without tension. And you will be completely healthy. And you will feel that. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel really good now.
I am 8 years old. My father is punching the door because he's drunk. How do I feel?
Honestly, I don't really care anymore.
I'm 16 years old. I'm performing on stage or rehearsing for the performance for the festival. And my partners are being stupid. They don't want to rehearse, they want to go home. The teacher is also telling to get some food. How do I feel at that moment?
I feel alright. I'm okay.
Do I feel like committing a suicide right now?
I feel like I have just received wisdom.
So you no longer need to practice blood violin or shot yourself with a gun.
No, I don't. It is fake.
People enjoy stories like this. It's really strange.
No, no.
Somebody murdered someone, maybe somebody hung himself, and so on. There is also COVID, the fashion of the last several months. You open up the news and see the numbers. How many people are already dead, the amount of infected people, and the foreseeable infection. Do you understand it? It's like if post-stress syndrome doesn't exist in the medical world. People are being hypnotized further. There is an scientific article published on the ability of people getting ill as a result of being nervous. Getting ill by COVID. All this artificial nonsense is made by mass media. And the government is not against. Information is controlled by mass media. This is something to think about. How do you feel now?
I feel very well. I feel content.
I'm going through the audition for the theater university. Were you implying in Moscow?
Yes, of course.
Is it Shukinsky University?
All of them.
You tried to enroll once, correct?
I have already enrolled in my university, but I continued to apply at the theater
When
school.
was the last time? And which time hurt you the most? When they said, "You have golden diploma, get out. We are looking for bad students."
That was my audition after school. It was 2012.
It was the most hurtful.
I was never offended by them, although I was disappointed with myself. The most hurtful time was when I was taking courses at the Shukinsky and I was told that my performance was painful, called me evil, that I was mediocre. They've never seen such mediocre actress before.
So, they have called you evil on stage?
Yes, evil.
I was making a performance and they've commented this way.
Everyone was on stage. We're rehearsing an improvisation, and I was called evil. And as if I was ruining the performance.
What was the name of that person?
I don't remember the name. She was some older actress.
Well, how old were you?
How old was I?
Yes,
21.
21. So, I'm 1 day old again and inside my mother's belly. At that moment, the God comes to me and he says, "Dear Anna, you will be trying to get accepted to a theater university several times in your life. At the age of 21, some actress will tell you that you are evil, that you must leave their performance, and that she has never seen such mediocrity as you are. All this happens for love, joy, and happiness, for you to feel absolutely satisfied, confident, and happy woman, who will get into any school she wants and receive great pleasure out of it. It's for you to feel that all the roads that you may choose are open for you. And you understand clearly, and you know exactly what you want in life. It's for you to receive the gift of unconditional love, and you could enjoy yourself in any situation and any group of people and receive great pleasure out of it. How do you feel?
I feel great.
I am performing on stage. Where is the fire?
It is coming from the audience.
Audience. And what do I feel inside?
I feel pleasure and confidence. I understand that I can enjoy every moment of my life. I understand that I can receive joy out of every moment now.
Now imagine that there are judges in the audience, and you control them like zombies. So you tell them, you will accept me now, and they do it. They said you're a masterpiece. And you actually do nothing. You're being silent. Acting silence is the most advanced talent.
Yes.
Fill in the rest, yeah? Being silent on stage is the greatest art.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel?
Nothing bothers me.
Do you feel stillness?
Yes, I do. As if nothing really bothers me.
Okay, what plans do you have for your future?
I want to continue this pleasure.
And continue writing text for publishing company?
Well, I'm still afraid, but I understand what you mean. But the subject is still sensitive for me, and I'm afraid to return to it still.
It's a sort of self-delusion when you are afraid to become yourself. So you're lying to yourself. And when you understand who you really are, you shouldn't lie to yourself.
Mm-hmm. I got sick when I was trying to follow my path.
You're starting your path while being crazy person. You were acting as a drug addict who is trying to prove your father that she's worth something. I can understand Vysotsky, I can die with him for my father to accept me. Do you understand where the situation came from? You wanted to calm down your father for him not to be a drunkard and to become happy with my mother, and I need to burn down on stage for him to understand me. This was the mental program. It was manipulating you.
Yes, I didn't see it this way before.
Well, standers-by see more.
Yes.
Anna, is the sugar level machine nearby you?
Yes, here it is.
Let's have a look at your measurements. It could be better to measure it after 1 hour, but we will do it now. It's bedtime now. Are you in Moscow?
In Odensova.
It is close to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at it.
5.2. It's normal. You shouldn't do any injection now. Measure your sugar in the morning when you get up.
The results are the most interesting in the morning.
Do you do meditation or other practices?
Well, it is hard for me. I need to do practices with some activity. When I stay active, Tibet hormonal practice, for example.
You were very stressed out and you were trying to settle down. But now you're relaxed all the way. To get more pleasure, you must dive inside and get complete relaxation. Then your body will reconfigure. To act confident, you should be an absolutely relaxed, independent, and confident woman. You act a character's part, you get joy out of it, and you let it go. And there is no problem. You don't live with it. You don't get yourself into madness to play on stage. Although you probably are a director more than a plain actor.
Yes, I agree with you.
You can lead others and get pleasure out of it. You can take a couple of crazy people. You understand their problems now. You'll be able to understand each other. You know you are not at that level. You don't have to suffer with them. If this is their intention, you can show how to do it and earn money.
Yes, I do.
That's all. I can recommend Shavasana meditation. To learn
Yes.
how to relax totally, you should continue the practice for 3 months. Observe your sugar level. If you get normal sugar, do not take any shots of insulin. Write me a message in 1 week about your health.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Okay, good luck to you.
All the best.